you so much, everybody who clicked on this video. My name is Blaine Elizabeth, and today I'm going to be interviewing Tara Moreno. She is a holistic healer from Serenity House, and she has an incredible story, redemption, and pulling through some really hard times. So that's what we're going to discuss today. Tara, can you share a little bit about your personal journey and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, Blaine, thanks for inviting me on, first of all. And, both of us being in recovery, women in recovery, it's important that we, support each other during our recovery journeys. With my own recovery journey, it really started in my childhood home in terms of the childhood trauma. And it defined so much of how I led my life unconsciously up into my addiction. And then even through my recovery journey, these patterns that I learned from my parents. I mean, that's being trapped in those cycles and you don't know how to get out.
Like what patterns?
Yeah, absolutely. So codependency, like relationships, that was something that was an ongoing theme through my teen years, all the way through my adult life. And that contributed to my using behaviors. I feel like I was more addicted to men and relationship than I was to the substances themselves, although I was very addicted to certain substances as well.
Mhm.
But to be able to heal a codependency was harder than for me to, stop using, because I wasn't an everyday user. I was a binge user. But yeah, those relationships, man, they got me every time.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. So when you were growing up, were you in a household with like both your bio mom and your bio father?
Yep.
Okay. Did you have any siblings?
Yep. I had one sister who was 22 months younger than me. I still have a sister. Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel like substance use disorder impacted your life or like those people around you?
With the substance use disorder, a classic alcoholic. The tornado that was tearing through people's lives, like thinking that I wasn't doing anything wrong. And I'm fine. And, all of those things. So, with that pathway, the denial was like the hardest piece to get through. Even though my life was where it was and my parenting, my motherhood had been challenged and ultimately taken from me, I still struggled intensely with pain and suffering. And then trying to figure out, like, why was I feeling that way? Why was the world the way it was? And what was the pain what was it doing? And, for a long time, I was the victim of my own story. I was a victim to the system. I was a victim to my relationships, to, the judge, to whatever. And it took a while for me to figure out that I was co-creating and manifesting my reality through my pain.
I can totally relate with the tornado. I was that too. Yeah. Can you talk about like what types of resources that you use to kind of start your path to healing?
So I started out with a treatment. So I went to treatment for 20 days and I started with Alcoholics Anonymous, and that became my pathway. And that was my pathway for about 5 years. And then after, about that 5 years, I started Al-Anon. So I started going to Al-Anon and I started to not resonate with the 12 steps. I started leaving meetings feeling worse than feeling better. I was so afraid to leave the program because of the dogma, like meeting makers make it. If I don't go to a meeting, I'm going to use again. And I did not want to use again. And I did not want to go down that path. So a lot of that really, really impacted me. However, I was being judged a lot in the program because I was still medicated. I was on benzos for panic attack disorder. And, people say you're not sober and, all of these things. And, I'm very much an advocate and have used harm reduction in my own recovery journey, the entire recovery journey. I just didn't one day stop everything. It was a gradual process of letting go of the alcohol and then the cigarettes and, the benzos I finally got off of. And then, other things like micro addictions like sugar, and certain foods that become an addiction. So yeah, so that's a little bit about how I did it to start. Then I got into the holistic medicine after my son was born.
How old were you when your son was born?
So I was 36 when he was born in 2012. After he was born, he had food allergies just from my breast milk.
Mm.
And I thought it was fascinating because I'm like, how can like a kid get these symptoms? And they were very, very strong. He had GERD. He was spitting up too much. He was drooling excessively. He had red ring around the anus. Like it was like really bad. So I started
Oh,
researching.
baby.
It was terrible. It was awful.
Mm.
I wanted to breastfeed though. And I watch you too. And it's like, I wanted him to have the best start. I wanted him to be really smart, and I did all the research around breast milk. And I remember my boyfriend's mom was like, you can quit breastfeeding. And I'm like, I am not going to quit breastfeeding. And I pushed through and I'm glad that I did because I figured out that the foods I was eating, he was having physical reactions, but I was having mental and emotional reactions from those foods.
Mm.
And when I cut those foods out, I felt better.
Wow, that's so crazy. That's awesome though. So can you talk about the role of like support systems or like supportive people in your journey?
Yeah. So, interesting thing about the way I recovered is that I had to really take an inner journey and remember the codependency. I was always clinging to a guy,
Mm.
like trying to fill this void. And my journey really was about having time to go inside of myself and to start mining down into my being, figuring out why I was doing the things I was doing, and to be able to be okay with being alone.
You just dropped a bomb right there.
I mean, it's so true. And it was like I couldn't have healthy relationships until I really started having a healthy relationship with myself. That's my journey, though. There's other people that, they're more of a community, like needy people, and they get rejuvenated by people. I found that I was getting drained by being around people, and I had to understand why. And I'm an introvert. I'm very much an introvert that's extroverted because because of the work that I do and because I do like to perform and, stuff like that. But I'm really like the time alone. I love to read in my bed. I love to shut the door, put a candle, music candles. I love the feel of my own essence.
That's awesome though, because like it takes so long. For me, it took me so long to be able to like get from point A of hating myself and like destroying myself to being able to like enjoy that time with myself. For me, it's always in the bathroom. Like I just shut the whole world out and I lock the door and it's like everyone else is asleep and these next 2 hours are mine.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
world is mine. I can do whatever I want in here.
Yes. Freedom. Yes. To be free in your own body and your own mind.
Yes, but like for so long, my mantra was like, I am scared of being alone. And it's because I was afraid of like what I was gonna like what was I capable of? And it's like only I would know what I'm capable of. But like my path was showing me that I'm capable of completely destroying everything. So I always wanted like, yeah, that clinging. Oh, I can relate with that. So hard.
It took me a long time to trust myself too.
Wow. That was really cool. So, what kind of advice would you give to someone that's like still struggling with either that self-hatred, whether it's substance use disorder or mental health struggles? Like what advice would you give to someone who's struggling?
It's all about perseverance and consistency and making new habits that are good habits. And it just takes time to develop those new neural pathways, but just to keep going. And also understand that setbacks are part of it, and to be able to not shame ourselves and not judge ourselves as we're going through any kind of emotional throes or whatever during the recovery journey.
Yes, like when you were talking about the AA community and just all the shame and like stigma and dogma that's surrounding those 12-step programs, when I relapsed, I had gotten on MATs. And like there's some meetings you can't share at because you're still getting high. And like I went and got a master's degree on MATs. So clearly like my life's getting better, you know what I mean? But I can't go to a meeting and share. So why would I even want to go?
So true, and yeah. And that's what, at Serenity House, we meet people where they're at, and medication assisted treatment, if they're still using occasionally, whether it's alcohol or marijuana, as long as there's not like a heavy addiction to it, we'll still see them, right?
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So you mentioned Serenity House. So let's go into that journey. So what is your title at Serenity House?
Founding director. So founding executive director, founder.
Okay. And just describe a little bit about what Serenity House is and what it does and how it helps people.
Yep. So it's a recovery community organization located in the heart of downtown Flint with a satellite program in Lapeer County. We are a 501c3, and our mission is to advocate for people in recovery and to provide holistic options for those recovering from substance use disorder, codependency, and trauma.
That is so awesome. So when you say holistic options, like what does that mean for anybody listening that doesn't know?
It's mind, body, and spirit. So really looking at the person from a whole person perspective. And there are a myriad of different holistic options, and it really is all encompassing. So, it could be anything from, doing like what's been coined holistic, which is like Reiki or acupuncture or yoga, or using nutrition to heal or herbs to heal. But it's also your financial journey, like how your finances impact your well-being. It's all about your 8 dimensions of wellness, right? Whole person. What's your social life like? What's your occupational life like? It's looking at a person from a whole perspective where there's nothing wrong, but there's just symptoms that are occurring, right? And how to bring the body back into balance.
That's interesting. And so this 8 dimensions of wellness that you're talking about, did you like learn that from somewhere?
I was asked to do a self-care training in the workplace for a partner in Genesee County. She was having staffing issues where staff were burned out. They were experiencing secondary trauma. And I started researching, and I looked into SAMHSA's 8 dimensions of wellness. And I was like, this is this is holistic, right? It's all these domains of the human being, and the spiritual one is one of those domains. And holistic is that mind, body, and spirit. And I started doing that training. I'm actually doing that training again in September. So
September 11th?
Nope, September 19th and 21st. It's a virtual from 5 to 8. It is there's CEU credits for people who are in Michigan and need social work credits. So it's a beautiful.
I think I might be going.
Good. Yeah, it's all around developing a self-care plan. It's about secondary trauma, burnout, alleviating those, and how to create an environment of wellness in the workplace and in your own individual life.
That is so cool. That's awesome. All right, so we're coming to the final part of our little interview here. Is there a message or a takeaway that you would like listeners to take away from your message or from your story? Or what impact do you hope that your podcast episode will have?
Don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle. too often we give up because things may seem too hard, or, that we have self-doubt or things like that. Just keep going. The journey isn't easy at all. It's the hardest journey I think I've ever walked in my whole entire existence.
Mm-hmm.
However, the gems and the fruit that have been cultivated from my recovery journey was worth every single step. I have regained 10 times more than what I've lost.
Mm. Yes. I feel that so hard, and I like to tell people, like, I feel like I just became an adult at 26, Like some people graduate high school and then they like know what they want to do with their life and they go do that.
It wasn't me either, though. I was lost for until I was 36. So
Yeah.
trying, but still I didn't find myself until after my son was born.
Yeah. So your skin looks so nice though. I thought you were 36.
46. Can you believe it? Oh goodness. But I do. I do take care of myself though. Like I drink a lot of water, and I really, really try to cultivate a practice of self-care.
Yeah. All right, Tara. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Congratulations on being our very first interview. So, yay!
I love what you do. I do. I love watching your videos.
Thank you.